If you give me the choice, ask me who you want to fight, I will take Kamaru. Kamaru's still dangerous.
Woo! Islam wants you. He's making that clear.
If you're talking about which fight right now is the most competitive, and listen, Islam is great. We compete with our brothers each and every day. It would be no different.
Stylistically, bro, I think that's the most competitive fight that you can make at 170 pounds. It's different. Kamaru will defend those takedowns. He will come back to his feet. He does know how to strike.
Islam Makhachev continued his dominance in UFC with a dominant win over JDM at UFC 322 and has now set his sights on his next challenge. The new welterweight champion wants Kamaru Usman as his upcoming opponent to enhance his legacy. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev dedicates his UFC 322 victory to everyone who supported him along the way. He emphasizes that the win belongs to his entire team, not just himself. Reflecting on years of hard work to reach the top of the sport, he says he's proud to make his coaches, family, and people back home happy. He stresses that this achievement is for his team, his family, his republic, and his country.
This is sure not just my victory. This whole team, hard work all life to become one of the biggest name in this sport. So happy to make them proud, make them happy. This is victory for my team, for my family, for my republic, for my country. This is the first double champ from our country.
Islam Makhachev also shares that Abdulmanap would be proud of him and believes their team is ready to control the UFC lightweight division. He points out that their gym has elite talent, mentioning PFL champion Usman and Shanko, who is already a rising star without a UFC fight. He adds that more fighters from their camp are on the way and will soon take over the division. Islam Makhachev said, Abdulmanap would be proud of me, and the lightweight division in our gym is one of the most competitive divisions. We have PFL champion Usman, Shanko, already a big star without having a UFC fight. We have a lot more guys who are gonna come and control the lightweight division in the UFC very soon. Islam Makhachev even shows support for JDM after their fight, predicting that he will make a strong comeback. He notes that Jack is still young and entering his prime. Islam believes Jack will improve his wrestling, combine it with his elite striking, and return to being one of the top fighters in the division. Islam Makhachev said, Jack is still young. He's 28. Some people just begin fighting at the top level at 28. I know he's gonna come back. He's gonna improve his wrestling, and he has one of the best striking. He's gonna come back soon, and he's gonna be one of the best in this game. Meanwhile, there are now a lot of talks about Islam's next opponent, and the welterweight champ has made it clear that he wants to face Kamaru Usman for his next title defense at 170. He notes that Kamaru Usman remains a dangerous and top-level fighter, capable of beating other contenders, which is why he chooses him as his next opponent.
And today's the two fight did very well, Marais and Prates.
Yeah.
But I still thinking Kamaru can beat them both. And Kamaru's the biggest, and they young fighter who hungry, but Kamaru's still dangerous and one of the best in this game.
Really?
And if you give me the choice and ask me who you want to fight, I will take Kamaru, but it's not my job. Anyone, I will be ready.
Kamaru Usman views Islam Makhachev as one of the toughest matchups in the sport because he can't find a single weakness in his skill set. Watching Islam reminds him of the pressure he felt before fighting Colby Covington. He explains that this kind of opponent forces a fighter into their deepest competitive zone. After Islam's latest performance, Usman considers him one of the most competitive and complete fighters right now.
I'm not here to glaze in any way, form, or fashion, but I say it's the most competitive because when I look at a guy like Islam, I don't really see holes like that. And that's something that scares me, that causes that heartbeat to go up. And that's where you see some of the most spectacular performance. Because the last time I felt that like that was Colby Covington won. And that's when I was like, yo, you got a guy that can wrestle just as good as you, a guy that can grapple just as good, a guy that can maybe not strike it, but a guy that can strike just as well. You have a guy that's good in all these things. How do you get that victory? And that's where you live. That's where you get that your spirit just is in there to just fight it out. And so I would say yes, if you're talking about which fight right now is probably probably the most competitive. And listen, Islam is great. He's great. Especially what he did last night. Islam is great. You can't take anything away from him.
Islam Makhachev also acknowledges that many top fighters are eager to challenge him for his belts. He says the welterweight division is very competitive right now, with several young fighters rising. He adds that he's focused on being a double champion, feels strong without cutting much weight, and plans to defend his title many times.
In this division, a lot of good guys, some big performances tonight. Ilia called you out. Michael Morales and Carlos Prates both want a shot. Shavkat wants a shot. Usman wants a shot. Who's the guy?
Everybody wants something. Yeah, this is the much competitive division right now, welterweight. Sure, 100%. Like Lara, young guys who fought today. Next week's gonna fight couple guys, and also Kamaru, Topuria, all killers want to take my belts. No, I don't give it, I'm working so hard to be double champion, and I feel today I don't have to cut much weight, and I'm gonna defend my belt many times more.
Alexander Volkanovski also considers Kamaru Usman to be Islam Makhachev's most challenging matchup. He points out that Usman excels against top opponents and stays cautious, which makes him a very tough test for Islam.
Huh? Usman's there. Usman can be a problem. Can he? Well, you see now you done well against Chimaev as well.
Yeah.
That can be definitely. Yeah, you probably. And he doesn't take an unnecessary risk. So he's a smart. So I think Usman will be Islam's toughest challenge. Won't take any unnecessary risk. Can stick to a game plan.
On the other hand, Ilia Topuria is another top contender to fight Islam, but the weight difference will be the major issue. Topuria also shared his thoughts on UFC 322 and said he isn't impressed with Islam's performance. The lightweight champ believes the fight between Islam and JDM was boring. He criticized JDM's wrestling and said he needs an entire camp focused on that. Topuria adds that he's growing more confident that he could put Islam to sleep in a fight. Ilia Topuria said, "Jack needs an entire camp dedicated just to wrestling. What a disappointment of a champion. You should go to Georgia to learn something. Islam, you need something you can't train. Emotion. You're the most boring thing in this game. Every day I'm more certain I put you to sleep." Islam Makhachev reacts to Ilia Topuria's criticism of his UFC 322 win, saying he feels completely healthy and ready for his next opponent. He stresses that he's prepared to make the fight look easy. Islam adds that Jack Della Maddalena was a tough challenge, which is why he trained intensely to control the fight, attempt submissions, and follow his game plan perfectly.
Topuria, I don't know if you saw his tweet. He said you're like the most boring fighter in the UFC or something like that. I know you said to ask you about him after the fight at Media Day. Can you give us your full thoughts on a fight with him now?
No injury, nothing. I don't feel any pains. I'm ready. Who is gonna be next? Let's do this, and I will make it easy. And today I show you, Jake's one of the best in this game. One of the hardest opponent. That's why I prepare so hard to make this easy, and this is our plan, and I did exactly. He defends. I try to do some chokes, try to make Kimura, but he defends very well. But I make this easy because I training so hard.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley believes a matchup between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev would be one of the most skillful fights in MMA history. He explains that Ilia needs a big win next to set up the clash. O'Malley thinks this fight would be much closer and more competitive than Islam's bout with Jack Della Maddalena, and calls it the matchup fans should see next.
The next fight it's gotta be Ilia. Ilia's gotta go out there and beat Justin Gaethje. He's gotta go out there and beat Patty. Whoever he beats, he's gotta go out there and get the job done. But Ilia, I'm so curious if Islam can do this to Ilia. Ilia, he matches that skill set, and I just feel like it would be a lot closer of a fight than Jack versus Islam was. That's the fight you have to make. That's the fight that should have made this time, but they didn't. But that's okay. Islam got the job done. Ilia, it's like even if he's going against Patty, it's like I don't know who I got. I want to see Ilia win his next fight just so we can see Islam versus Ilia. That would be the biggest, most skillful fight of all time, and it would be honestly hard to beat.
Sean O'Malley believes Islam Makhachev can compete with anyone in his division. He notes that Ilia Topuria hasn't been fully tested in grappling, despite performing well against tough opponents. O'Malley explains that both Islam and Ilia possess rare, elite skill sets in striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. He adds that size might matter, but both fighters are exceptionally well-rounded and highly skilled.
I don't see who Islam doesn't do this to in that division. Yeah, we haven't really seen Ilia get tested in the grappling. Bryce Mitchell is a very high-level grappler, and Ilia handled that. Ilia's skill set is so high. They're both 10 out of 10s in MMA. Rare, John Jones. 10 out of 10. Rare, there's a couple people in MMA that have that skill set that can do everything. Strike, wrestle, jiu-jitsu. Both those guys have it. So I don't know. I mean, in that sense, maybe size does come in. Maybe size does matter.
Demetrius Johnson also thinks Islam Makhachev should fight Ilia Topuria at the White House and retire at his peak, following Khabib's example. He highlights that Islam is a big, strong 170-pound fighter who's already financially secure. Johnson adds that many MMA fighters stay too long at the top, and Islam has the chance to walk away on a high note after defeating Topuria.
I didn't think Islam was going to be able to, I didn't think Islam is small for 170. I've seen him in person. I've trained with him. He's a big dude. And who would Islam fight next at 170? You know what? I think Islam is destined for, he should fight Ilia Topuria at the White House. If he beats Ilia Topuria, he retires. Islam has plenty of money, right? Go out on your shield like Khabib did. A lot of people in MMA don't want to see that, but in mixed martial arts, us athletes, we stay too long at the party. There's no reason for an athlete to continue to come into the head and all that stuff. If I was him, fight Ilia Topuria at the White House, you beat Ilia Topuria, walk away. I'm sure he made another one. That shit goes as far as Russia, so there's no point for him to keep on fighting.
On the other hand, Henry Cejudo believes Islam Makhachev has now passed Khabib in terms of pure achievement, with more title defenses and becoming a two-division champion. At the same time, he finds it ironic because in his view, if they ever fought, Khabib would beat Islam, and Islam has admitted that himself.
Is Islam's legacy greater than Khabib's legacy?
Yes. Just out of pure merit, 100%. Title defense is a two weight division thing, but it's ironic, bro. If they were to fight, Khabib would beat him.
and the crazy.
And he said it himself, like, dude, if I was to fight this dude, he'd beat me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but it's all hypothetical, right?
However, Kamaru Usman believes Khabib's impact in the sport remains unmatched. He says Khabib carried an entire community on his back and brought a level of dominance that was remarkable. He admits it's tough to compare eras, but he feels Islam Makhachev is currently at the top.
Yeah, all hypothetical. But for me, I don't know if I could answer that because what Khabib was able to do for the sport and for the Muslim. I mean, obviously there were Muslims in the sport before Khabib, but what he was able to do as far as putting that on his back, I think was remarkable. So, and then the way Khabib was disposing of his guys. So it was, man, it's tough to say, but I do think Islam Makhachev is right now is up there.
Moreover, Paddy Pimblett shares his first impression of Islam Makhachev at welterweight, highlighting his size and presence in the cage. He says seeing Islam next to Jack Della Maddalena showed that Islam could handle the grappling. Pimblett adds that Jack didn't appear significantly bigger, and Islam didn't seem like a lightweight facing a welterweight.
Islam looks different, that's weird. Just looks different. So takedown straight away. That looked easy for Islam, that takedown. Like, as soon as I seen him in the cage next to each other and seeing the size, I was like, yeah, Islam will be able to grapple him. I thought that Jack might be a bit too big for him, but he doesn't look like a lightweight fighting a welterweight, does it?
Paddy Pimblett praises Islam Makhachev as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter and one of the all-time greats in UFC. He describes the performance as incredible and says Islam is destined to be remembered among the best fighters ever.
Pound for pound #1, lad. Unbelievable performance. I think he goes down as one of the best ever, me, like, yeah. Yeah, he mentioned the White House, but I think he'll defend his belt before the White House. The White House is until July, is it? Let's see what happens, lad, you never know. Ilia's been saying he wants to go up and fight him, lad, but you've got other contenders there now. Morales, Prates, you've then got Ian Gary if he beats Bilal next week. Shavkat as well, who needs to come back. He's been the #1 contender for about a year. They're all exciting matchups for Islam, lad. The welterweight division at the moment could be becoming more exciting than the lightweight division. I don't think any division has been more exciting than lightweight in over 10 years. Good times for the sport, like, you know what I mean? Some interesting fights, some boss matchups, but we're just going to have to see what happens, aren't we, over the coming months.
On the other hand, things got chaotic at UFC 322 when Dillon Danis was rushed by several members of Khabib's team. Their long-running beef boiled over yet again, turning into a full-on brawl. Islam's teammate Shanko was seen hitting Dillon Danis on the back of the head during the brawl. Later, Magomianchenko Zainikov explained in an interview that he confronted Danis because he needed to face consequences for his words. He added that Danis deserved even more, emphasizing that in their culture, people must take responsibility for what they say, and Danis failed to do so.
Ты же кулак даже разбил, потому что на фотографии видно.
Да, вот здесь царапина. Об зуб, походу, я не знаю, куда. И этим тоже чуть вот здесь попало ему, вот шишка появилась.
Я надеюсь, ты же только в него попадал, ты там не кому-то, так скажем...
Не, охрана не попал, хоть хорошо, никого не попал. Только его бил.
Ну, сейчас единственное...
Ну, реально, это, я считаю, даже это мало. Извиняюсь, что перебил, но это мало для него. За его поступки это мало. Такие вещи не прощаются, за каждое слово ты должен отвечать. У нас такие стереотипы, что ты сказал, ты должен за свои слова ответить, но он... Ну, это для них, видишь, у них, я не знаю, как они живут здесь. Что хотят, говорят, могут семью задеть, и для них это ничего. А для нас все, каждое слово, это все для нас святое, и нужно отвечать.
Kamaru Usman was stunned that the UFC even allowed Dillon Danis inside the arena. He couldn't believe Danis walked in after talking trash about him, Masvidal, his manager, and countless others, especially in a crowd full of Dagestanis.
When I was there, I happened to have looked at my phone. I saw that Dillon Danis was, when he was hugging GSP, I think he came to say hi to GSP or something. And so I was like, whoa. They let this guy in here, public enemy #1. They let him in here, in this place, full of all these people. I mean, Dillon Danis at one point has talked trash about me. Dillon Danis at one point has talked trash about my manager. Dillon Danis has talked trash about Masvidal. Dillon Danis has talked trash about
everybody. Just everybody.
Exactly.
Dana White took the blame of the incident and confirmed that Dillon Danis is now permanently banned from all UFC events. He pointed out Islam Makhachev had his team right there in the front rows supporting him, but Danis won't be getting that chance again, as he will never be allowed back into a UFC arena.
Dillon Danis was here, and he was moving around, sitting in fighter seats and not sitting in his own seat that he had. He had a ticket, and they said, "Do you want us to throw him out of here?" And I said, "He has a ticket?" And I said, "Yeah. If the guy has a ticket, let him sit in his seat and let him do what he's doing, and keep an eye on him." It never even crossed my mind, as stupid as this could be, that the entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam. And as soon as it broke out, I was over on the other side, and I go, I know exactly what that is. I knew it. And yeah. You will never see Dillon Danis at a UFC fight ever again.
Islam Makhachev reacts to Dillon Danis going after his team, noting that after 5 years of non-stop trash talk, Danis finally had to face the consequences. In his view, Danis didn't stand on anything he had been saying, and he even goes as far as suggesting Danis should be banned from the country.
When you talk about someone like last 5 years you talk about someone, when you meet them, you have to answer what you said, you know. And today, I don't think he answered, you know. And he still say a a lot of bad things about our team, and today he coming and somebody just meet him. He talk about this guy's bad, and today the guys just meet him. That's it.
Dana said he's banned from UFC events for life, so he'll never be back to one.
He have to ban from this country also.
Javier Mendez also responds firmly to the Dillon Danis incident at UFC 322, noting that entering an opponent's space with disrespect almost always leads to conflict. He highlights that Dillon went too far by mocking people's religion, which caused the situation to escalate.
You know, that guy, I mean, why doesn't he grow up? I mean, what the hell's he doing? I mean, I read, I heard Dana's speech regarding that, about how he was sitting in the fighter section and sitting where Team Khabib was to boot. I mean, come on, dude. You know you're asking for trouble. And then they showed me the videos of what he was showing Ali and Islam in a relationship type embrace. And then he was doing things with a porn star in Islam embracing. And then he's talking crap on other things. I mean, what do you expect when you do that? And you go and you sit where the guys are sitting and you riling them up with big, huge disrespect. I mean, this guy, you know, it's like when Logan Paul's girlfriend went after him, rightfully so, because he was making her look like something she wasn't. So she sued his ass. And then, you know, you got to stop that stuff, you know? It's like, stop picking on people's religion, man. That's what he was doing. He was making fun of it.
And that wraps up today's video. Share your thoughts on Islam Makhachev's dominant victory at UFC 322 and who you think should be his next opponent, as there are a lot of names waiting in the list.